Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Range is hot. Lock and load. It's time for the Gun Rack with your hosts, Joey and Drew.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gun Rack Sonoran Desert Institute School of Firearms Technology's official podcast. I'm Josiah Upper. Folks call me Joey, and with me we have one
Drew Poplin.
And actually we have one more person, but we're going to get into that in a minute. As you guys probably know, we just got through one of the busiest seasons of the firearms industry year. It's very short, but it is all about SHOT Show, which generally takes place, pretty much always, I think, takes place in Las Vegas. And companies take opportunities to roll out new ammunition, firearms, accessories, all sorts of fun stuff out there. And the director of marketing here at SDI, Steve Ross, was able to go out and check it out. So we brought him with us to talk a little bit about that. But before we do that, we have some Drew's clues to get through. So Drew, what do we got today?
All right. So last week's answer was the 275 Rigby. Now this week, this double-barrel shotgun was famous for being Teddy Roosevelt's favorite shotgun. Roosevelt used the shotgun on his well-documented 1909 African safari, and he told his friends it was the finest and most beautiful gun he'd seen. The shotgun features intricate scroll work, oak leaves, and a gold inlay hunting dog on each side of the frame.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a nice little touch. By the way, thank you to panhandleplanes.org for this week's clues. Just made it a little bit easier this week.
Nice.
But if you think you know the answer to this week's Drew's Clues, please, we encourage you to write into us, send us an email, or just comment when we post this on YouTube. You can send an email to marketing@sdi.edu. Just put it in the subject head, Drew's Clues answer, so we know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
And
always good.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird if someone just was like, you get a random email that just says, so-and-so firearm, nothing else.
Why don't you leave me alone?
So yeah, write in with your answer, and if you're right, we'll send you some swag.
Yes, we sure will. Now, before we get into SHOT Show, we wanted to take a moment, as we always do, to talk about SDI itself. So Sonoran Desert Institute is an online school that helps students learn the skills and techniques they will need to be successful in the firearms and unmanned technology industries. SDI is accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, also known as DEAC. Currently, SDI offers two programs in firearms technology, the Associate of Science in Firearms Technology, that's the ASFT, and the Certificate in Firearms Technology Gunsmithing, that is the CFTG. We also have a School of Unmanned Technology that you guys are welcome to check out as well. If you are interested in taking your knowledge of firearms technology to the next level, hop on to sdi.edu for more. Now, let's talk a little bit about SHOT Show this year. First, let's welcome Steve back onto the podcast. Welcome, Steve. It's been a minute.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Great to be back.
Glad to have you back. For those of you that don't know, Steve was on our SHOT Show recap episode last year. If you want to check that out, be sure to head over to Podbean, and you can get the know on last year's SHOT Show if you so desire. Steve, thank you so much for taking your time to hop onto our little podcast. I saw a video on, I want to say it was Instagram. It was like an overhead shot of one of the halls filled with people piling in. And for me, I didn't realize that it was just so packed until you see like the footage and these pictures of the event. We know that last year's show was a bit different because you're coming out of the post-COVID everything. How would you say size-wise it compares to this year's event?
SHOT Show this year definitely felt like a return to normal. Like I said, last year was kind of nice if you don't like crowds, and it really brought out the people that were there just to do business. It kind of The tire kickers didn't show up last year. Not to say they weren't there this year. They were definitely there, but there was also people there that were just ready to get back to it. Crowds were back. SHOT Show last year, I think it was, introduced an additional hall to the whole show itself, so that the show, it's just the floor plan is even bigger than it was 2 years ago. There's the main level where kind of all the really big gorillas in the room are going to have their booths, and the big major companies, your Glocks, your Remingtons, Berettas, there, all those major companies. The downstairs portion is kind of where our booth is, and also where I like to walk around. It's more the small to medium-sized businesses, and sometimes it's easier to talk to those folks. They're more happy to let you come into their booth and show you their products. Then in their new hall are medium to large size companies, a little bit different of a feel compared to the Venetian Center. Feels more laid back, easy to talk to, easy to look at products. Over there, we ran into companies like Real Avid, our friends over at Cirrus that do our gun mats. So nice. Really cool products all around. But man, we're there for 4 or 5 days. I mean, if you wanted to walk that show from end to end, I don't think you could do it. And especially if you wanted to stop and talk and look at stuff, there's just so many new things there. If people have the opportunity, definitely look into going.
For sure. I feel like you need a hoverboard to be able to cover everything, and especially some people I know are only able to go for like a day or two. So like trying to get as much as you can with an event that size, you're definitely going to need a little help.
Definitely show up with like your list of must hits before you start the show.
Were you there the whole time? Like all the whole run of the show?
So this year, SDI, we had 6 people attend the show.
Oh, wow.
Christian, our event coordinator. And then this year we brought a dedicated cameraman to get content there.
Nice. Very nice.
They arrived early. Then also Brian from our training center side of things. He was there on Monday, where Monday SHOT Show hosts a range day. So all the new toys that companies bring to SHOT Show, you go out there to the range and test them out. That's also the day everyone kind of sets up their booth. Most everyone else arrived Monday night. Show starts on Tuesday morning and goes until Friday afternoon, where we pretty much the whole crew all stayed till Friday afternoon.
Yeah, nice.
And what night was the grad event?
Yes, I mean, it was awesome this year. So Thursday night was our grad event, and this year we co-hosted it with one of our marketing partners that we do a lot of our work with, different gun YouTubers. It was at a place called The Nerd, which was a kind of a strange bar, more of like exactly what it is, like nerd bar, but it had like cool movie props all along it, games, had bowling alley right inside of the bar.
Nice. Very, very nice.
We had different gun channels there, Guns and Gadgets. Brandon Herrera was there, the VSO gun channel. There was, of course, I don't know how we got looped up with him, but now SDI is like best friends with Chuck Liddell. So he's always hanging out with us. He just stops by our booth like, oh yeah, hey Chuck, what's going on? Yeah. And then we the cool thing about that grad event, we get to meet grads, and the grads also get to meet those guys, but plus they get to meet industry partners that we invite to the show as well. Whether it's like new partners that we're talking to now from like 2A Commerce that help build websites and credit card processing for gun companies or gun e-commerce, to big established brands, whether it's Palmetto State Armory or whoever, they kind of get to meet those people and get those introductions if they're getting their start. But one of the really cool things I felt about this grad event this year, not only were they grads, but they were grads and they were representing companies in the industry already. We met one guy there, his name was
awesome.
Tyler. He was with Black Rain Ordnance. And man, it's one of the best parts about meeting grads at these shows is one, like seeing like, hey, they may have started in the gun industry or just looking to find a way in, but hearing the stories like, yeah, I was the stock boy at this company, and then I was able to go to school with SDI and I learned this and this, and now I'm one of their top gunsmiths. Hearing those stories from grads is awesome to hear. And like I said, Tyler from Black Rain Ordnance was one of those guys, and he was showing us some builds, and we'll have a video with him out on our social, probably our YouTube channel, of what he's been working on for them. But at the show itself, this year felt totally different of running into students that were currently working in the industry, had plans to start their own shops, get their FFL, or were working for other big manufacturers and having a role as a gunsmith or in their sales or in their engineering, in their video content, and they all just like, yeah, like SDI's program really helped me figure out what this part was. And I was able to talk the talk and take what I've learned and apply it to what I'm doing now.
For sure. And if you're trying to connect with people, you could do it at worse places than Vegas.
Yeah, go to SHOT Show during the day, and then go to everyone calls the Circle Bar at night, and that's where you can meet some more folks if that's up to your taste.
So, we kind of talked about, sort of the size difference and, this year's SHOT Show kind of feeling like a return to normalcy. As far as things that, different companies announced, like some of their new products and stuff, would you say, that sort of lined up with that? Or I guess, what were your thoughts on some of the new releases?
In the short amount of time that I got to walk around the show, there was a few standouts to me, accessory wise, or just, gun accessory products. I really liked Magpul's new case system. I think they call it the DEAC system. It's an adjustable kind of, you can reform the way your Pelican case is laid out. It's not foam anymore. It's these like pop-ins. So if you want to have your rifle in there, you want to have some mags, some ammo. If you want to go to the range with it, your binoculars. If you want to store anything in there, you can readjust this and reassemble it, almost like what's the one game? Plus, he's playing Game Boy with the falling parts. It's skipping my mind. Tetris, yeah. So it's like Tetris style pieces inside of your gun case that you can move around and snug things together. That one was pretty cool looking. Magpul also did a partnership, I can't remember with who, with like a collapsible open up pistol. I'm sure you can Google it and find it. But I think the biggest talk of like our group of like interesting new product was something from Bond Arms. It's their tactical lever action.
I saw photos of that.
So on the top, it accepts a standard AR-15 upper receiver that can work with anything from 223 up to like 50 Beowulf. But the cool thing is different upper receivers. Then the lower receiver is also very interesting. It has a regular push button safety, similar to what you find on like a lever gun, but it has a mag release because of course everyone needs a lever action with a mag on it, right?
Gotta do it, yeah.
It's cool because it's like where the regular AR mag release button would be, but it's right next to the shooter's index finger on your lever action, and it works with a standard capacity 30 round PMag. It just looks like a very modern tactical lever action. I think that was kind of the talk of our little group there, and it was getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things on social media. Like it feels like a lot of different companies are starting to do like these tactical lever actions. It seems to kind of be in lately.
They look cool and you feel like a cowboy when you shoot a lever action. And I'm sure there's probably something there that makes different state compliance makes it attractive there as well.
For sure, I didn't
anticipate that. Yeah, being a selling point down the road for sure.
I mean, let's be honest, it's really about the cowboy aesthetic.
I mean, people have been putting that tactical lever action vibe for ages, but mostly that just meant sticking some Picatinny and some plastic stocks on there instead of wood.
Yeah.
That's interesting to see them actually put some sweat equity into the idea, make it something special.
I know for ages, I go to Midwest Industries, for example, like they make some really cool accessories that you can do that with your lever actions.
So you're going to actually, this isn't your final show for the year. It's just getting started for you, actually. You're going to be at Great American here in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. SHOT Show last week. Everyone gets to come home, take the week off, recuperate. And luckily, none of us really got sick. I think Christian is the only one that got sick, and maybe Rick. But yet, then next week we all leave for Great American Outdoor Show, an NRA event in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is like a 2-week long show.
Great Great
Big
American's
Dipper.
fun.
Fun. It's open to the public, and there's like something there for everybody. If you want to go look at new guns, awesome, you can do it. If you want to look at archery equipment, you can do it. If you want to go book a hunt for anywhere in the world, they have its own hall just for like hunting outfitters. That is like the size of a super Walmart filled with hunting and ranch outfitters.
Yeah.
You can buy a boat there, and then a lot of food vendors there. Like you got to be careful how much you eat at those shows.
Well, it's going to be especially difficult to avoid that because of it's supposed to be pretty bad weather, I think.
That sounds about right for them.
Every year, I feel like this show has bad weather the first week. Last year, it was really hard. Flights were getting canceled like crazy because of snow and ice, which makes you scramble when it comes time to get people arriving and setting up for the show itself. I think, the first week it's like 30 something degrees is the high, which for some people may seem okay, but as someone from Florida, I'm like, no way.
Feel you there.
I know. The on my little weather app, I still have Inglis, Florida from the shoot from like a year and a little bit ago. I just forgot to take it off, and I'll go and check my weather and scroll to the right, and I'm like, golly, it's always about 25 degrees warmer there than it is anywhere else. It's not fair. Drew, aren't you going there too?
Yeah. And other than the gathering, this is going to be the first gun show that I've gotten to go to.
Very nice.
Very excited.
Wear comfy shoes. I learned that the hard way.
What kind of shoes were you wearing last year?
I just wore shoes you would wear at work, kind of workplace casual vibes. And then I was clocking in like 8.5 miles a day for 3 days. And those don't go well together.
I don't know why. I thought you said something about wearing like Doc Martens. I couldn't remember.
It was something maybe like boat shoes, Sperry's kind of thing. Something that did not work right for that kind of vibe. So
you heard there was going to be
sneakers
boats there, so you're
you're
just dressing for the role.
Talking about shoes at SHOT Show, one of the guys in our group, I won't name names because he'll know who he is as soon as I start talking about this. He wore sandals the entire SHOT Show. And that's the only pair of shoes that he brought to the show. He was the one going around filming for us. So he probably walked more than anybody, but man, leather, leather flip-flops the entire show.
That sounds incredibly painful. Yeah. I love walking around in flip-flops, but I feel like the little space between my toes would just be gone, just be bone.
Yeah. If you wanted to see toes all week, you had the opportunity with him.
I rarely do.
Yeah.
And Quentin Tarantino's at the show next year.
Oh no.
No, I'm gonna have to give him a hard time about that next time we have a meeting. Poor guy. So he did that for the whole show, not the first day, and I was like, oh, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, and it's like, those stories like a rule was made because someone broke a rule, or like is the reason there's a rule created. Like,
yeah.
Like, okay, now we have to have a dress code for SHOT Show. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. The theater group Drew and I met in, they had to institute a closed toe shoe policy because I kept wearing flip flops and I stepped on a snake once. Wait, hold on. You guys are not going to drop the name, but I will because I technically don't work with him anymore. Did Dave walk around that friggin' SHOT Show for a week in flip flops?
It wasn't Dave. No,
it wasn't Dave. You brought an independent cameraman who's not Jimmy Vegas. There's very few options left.
It's one of the camera people from our curriculum department.
Okay. I'm left with more questions than answers, but I will ruminate on this.
Yeah, I can tell you once we go off air.
Okay.
But
is it someone that I know?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Brandon. It was Brandon.
Oh, okay.
No, when you first said it though, I totally thought it was going to be Christian. I'm like, it seems like a Jimmy Vegas power move, but
no. Jimmy Vegas would never be caught.
He's got it down to a March of the Penguins ritual.
Christian is a very well-dressed individual.
Yeah.
And he's a sneakerhead. Like if he's running
Really?
the casual, it's like a very nice, expensive pair of Nikes or something.
I don't know if I'd want to wear my nice shoes to a show like that. Like,
We always
especially
were
as
living the
packed.
Jimmy Vegas life.
Yeah, that is true. I feel
No,
like
but it's like you got like, okay, there's military boots, there's like hiking boots, there's
Sure.
guy in the nice fancy leather shoes, there's Jimmy Vegas and his $400, his Nikes,
Yeah.
and then there's some toes,
Then flippity floppy.
flippity
Yeah.
floppy.
Golly, that's hilarious.
what was the over under on how many badges were stolen this year? Or not stolen. But
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Are stolen badges? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, people
No,
come
no.
and collect patches. Jack about 14 patches.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of patches, a lot of stickers, but at the same time, I think this year it was a little bit different. I almost felt like people weren't just grabbing stickers and patches just because they were free, but almost because like they wanted the SDI sticker. They've seen like our content we're doing with like Garand Thumb, like, hey, like, man, SDI.
I know this logo. Yeah.
I know this logo. Like, are we becoming the cool guy brand? Like they were wanting to grab them and like, oh yeah, hey, my gunsmith back at the store that didn't make it to the show wanted me to come grab these.
Nice.
that might be the best bit of
So
news
either we're getting better known or the lies are becoming more elaborate.
yeah.
I had a friend at a wedding I was at last weekend compare SDI to the Raid Shadows legends of the gun tube community. You cannot escape us.
I have heard that once or twice before.
Yeah.
I will say in our defense, okay, I mean, as a school, we want to stay in our education kind of wheelhouse. We can't say too much outside of that. We don't want to get political. We don't want to get in those arguments. I don't want to be in that place, but like, I don't have a problem. Like, this is kind of our way of being of the industry, not just in the industry kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I want to support these channels. So if you think about it that way, like, man, with us sponsoring and working with Garand Thumb and Brandon Herrera and all the other guys, like, man, and like Langley Outdoors, Guns and Gadgets, all these guys that provide an awesome service, whether it's entertainment for one, or keeping us up to date on the gun grabs and politics. Man, like, I'm glad that we get to support them to get that message out.
Me too. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of a compliment being it just means that the advertising campaigns are effective. So I won't anytime I hear that, I'm like, yeah, all right. The other one I heard was Manscaped, which is equally funny. I don't know what other big entities, like, I don't know what the next tier is. Is that the peak, or do we have to be compared to like an Audible to be like, we made it in terms of buying
I
people
feel like
out?
once we start seeing an influx of SDI memes, like about SDI,
Yeah.
I think that's when we'll know that we made it.
I think we made it when we have an SDI Super Bowl commercial.
I like that.
I kind of want to workshop this out right now.
Like, this will be about 3 times our annual marketing budget. We'll pick up about 30 seconds and we'll be on the news forever. That'd be kind of awesome.
I could see one starring Jimmy Vegas. Like,
Yeah.
especially if the Super Bowl takes place in Las Vegas with, they have that new stadium there for the Raiders.
That's true.
You do a whole play on that. It's like, hey, I'm Jimmy Vegas in Vegas for this year's Super Bowl. I just want to talk to you about SDI for real quick.
Yeah.
We'll pull out all the stops. Maybe we'll call some favors in on some gun tubers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But a question, did anyone mention the Gun Rack podcast at SHOT Show?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we had several people actually stop by and say that they listened to the podcast.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
we're gonna have to put an asterisk in the show notes for the lies we're dropping out here.
It's not an official SDI opinion.
Not an official SDI, like it is, but it's all, it's an official SDI fib. Next time, members of the Gun Rack Mafia, I need you to go to SHOT Show and prove us right. You gave us Goblin Mode as word of the year. This is your next quest.
No, actually, the podcast did come up several times at SHOT Show. And we've been kind of working on this behind the scenes. We're close enough that I feel comfortable talking about it. Is school partners, whether it's for student materials or they just want to be partners with us because they like what we're doing, we like what they're doing. So we're going to have, we've been working on a revamp, what we call the resource guide. It's our partners page.
It's our white whale.
These are industry partners for both gun and drone industry, offering services and discounts to students and graduates. It will be accessible via your online learning platform, Canvas. Log in, you can go to resource guide. Some of them are awesome discounts, and some of them are really good if you're getting ready to graduate or just graduated, and you're going to open up your own store. There's some really good lead-in programs to become a dealer opportunities.
Nice. That's really cool.
That launch will probably be happening here very soon. So keep an eye out for an email to access that. But
For sure.
The companies on there are awesome. And what we want to do is, once that launches, get those partners. They'll come on to the podcast, talk about it, talk about their products, what they're going to be offering, and offer some help to students or grads who want it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be nice to talk to someone other than Joey for a change on this podcast.
That's hurtful.
I'm sorry.
That's really hurtful.
Joey, I see it. We can expose them to the glories of Zip Fizz, though.
Yes, that's true. We're going to plug that. Each of these. I had to get a discount code for our discount code people.
Yes.
I actually just finished ordering another case just before I hopped on. Very excited.
Oh, really?
It's pink lemonade flavored. We're going hard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So once we get that, officially announced, we'll definitely be plugging it on the podcast.
Yeah. We'll do kind of a highlight reel or maybe even feature one with each episode we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of options here. It'd be really fun.
Cool. Well, Steve, thank you so much for hopping on. We'll probably have to have you back here in a couple weeks once we talk about Great American.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Great American, I'll be back for that. And then be prepared. NRA show, Indianapolis this year. That one's open to the public, so anyone can attend. It's not like SHOT Show where you got to have an industry kind of badge to get in. And we'll probably be hosting a grad event at NRA event as well. So
nice.
If you're going to be attending that show, make sure to keep an eye out for an invite to our grad event for NRA Indianapolis. If you don't receive an email, reach out to marketing.
Yep. And that's marketing@sdi.edu. So, Steve, thank you again, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Cool, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. So that was Steve Ross with SDI. Very grateful he came onto the podcast to talk about SHOT Show. Now, let's get into some tales from the range.
Tales from the range.
Once again, this comes from thehighroad.com, and this is from Reload Ron, which is maybe one of the better usernames I've heard.
Reload Ron. There have been some weird ones, but I like that. I like that.
That makes sense. It's catchy. I hope
Reload
that's
Ron. That could be a budding YouTuber's username,
That'd be a great action movie star.
Yeah, I think.
Ron.
Reload Ron. It's perpetually running out at crucial junctures within the movie.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a character that you've seen Tropic Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Seems like Ben Stiller's character in that movie.
Yeah.
What was that, Tug Speedman?
I don't remember.
It's been a while. We'll have to watch it again.
Yeah, it's almost an oldie at this point.
Maybe we can do it for DJ's bachelor party.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I like it.
Anyway, so Reload Ron says, pretty sure that any of us who have been around shooting long enough have seen some strange and really stupid things happen. Something I have found humorous, or better put, sad, is what I see at the indoor range. So you walk up to a stall and look to each side partition and notice bullet holes. He's very correct about that. Then you look up and notice the same, more bullet holes. And finally, you look down at the countertop ledge and, of course, more bullet holes. Does anyone ever wonder where all those holes came from? Was at my local indoor range one morning. Sundays are normally nice and quiet. So standing there talking to my friend Emery, who was working the counter, the range has a small 6-stall isolated section used mostly by members in things like armed security guard certifications and local police department qualifications. Well, a group filed off the range and into the classroom. Then came the bang. Emery's eyes got as big as mine did. Dead silence. And finally, Emery blurts out, "Are y'all okay in there?" The next sounds were those of an instructor going full ballistic mode. Here, a student seated at the rear of the room had discharged his weapon, sending a bullet right between a row of students' heads, passed through the wall, and lodged in a wall on the far side of an office space.
Oh my gosh.
Believe it or not, he's got another one for us. Another incident involved a good friend of mine who opened his gun safe and pulled the trigger on a 38 or 380 ACP he thought was empty. He killed his Dylan reloading scale, just blew it out. I told him to call Dylan and send it to them and they'll replace it. He told me he was too embarrassed and was going to throw it away. Well, heck, I'm not proud. Throw it away and I'll send it. So someone at Dylan opens the box, calls his coworkers and says, "Look, some idiot shot a scale." And they send me a new scale. I was fine with that, but eventually my friend saw the light and sent the scale to Dylan, who replaced it absolutely free.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that is true though about indoor gun ranges. Like there is an alarming amount of bullet holes I've seen in ceilings and on the partitions and stuff.
That is, I don't even know what to say, man.
Is that not experience familiar to you?
I mean, I've been around some negligent discharges, and normally a lot of people call them accidental discharges, but something like this just is negligence, right? I've been around a lot of them. Yeah, we can someday we can go into more fun stories on that because I've come within an inch of life on an occasion or two, but not like that. I haven't accidentally shot a scale or seen someone shoot a scale.
Okay, that's fair. I've never seen that either.
That's kind of a freak accident. And as far as range behavior, I don't think people talk about the nightmares of gun ranges. I've seen there were range rules and people very intentionally breaking those range rules because they didn't feel like following them.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen someone do something incredibly dangerous or stupid at a range. I've never seen someone shoot a gun up into the air or into the sky, I guess. I've never seen someone put a hole in the ceiling of a covered range. I have been flagged and seen people get flagged many times. I think most people that have been to the range have seen someone get flagged at some point. Mm-hmm. But the total disaster stories like this, I've been to ranges enough times that you kind of think eventually you'd run into one, but not yet.
Well, that just means it's coming.
Yeah, that's great.
Is that a terrifying thought?
No, you're probably right at this point. We go to enough range days where this is awful, but I have this vivid memory of at a IV 8888 range day. There was a guy wearing I should qualify it. It was soaking wet. Like it was swamp, standing water on the ground level. And there's this guy, very young guy, walking around in linen pants, like summer, khaki, James Bond, when Sean Connery was James Bond kind of pants, a cotton shirt that appeared to be handmade, and a cane that he did not need. And I just, like, as he's walking from place to place, I'm like, this guy is going to be the guy. This guy is going to give me a story I can write about for money later. But it never happened. But, characters will show up at ranges and events. And when you go to a big event, there are so many opportunities for stupidity or weirdos. But no, I've yet to have something cataclysmic happen as a result of stupidity.
Well, you can be sure when it finally does, you people, our gun rack mafia, will be one of the first to know about it.
You will be one. Yes, you will. The power of firearms journalism, baby. I didn't choose this life. This life chose. I didn't choose to write till 4:00 in the morning. This morning.
Were you really up that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I sure was.
What were you writing about?
It was a lot of stuff. For one thing, I don't know if our listeners know this, but I'm in business school along with doing my thing. And I'll go ahead and share with you guys that the opportunity I had when I left the gun rec did not work out as we hoped we did. So I ended up leaving there pretty shortly and went back to what I was doing before I was with SDI, which is reporting. So fortunate to be able to do it kind of at a high level with some really good groups, but a lot of the added responsibilities that you get when you freelance for a long time means covering a given entity when other people don't want to. So, I get to work in the firearms industry. That's hard to do. It's not common. But I also write from Thursday to Monday. My weekend is Tuesday and Wednesday. Stuff's weird. So there'll be a lot of times there'll be things about concealed carry or crime or something that pop up in the middle of the night or something. So I'm frequently up. And I'm also writing for grad school. So that comes first. So, like last night, for example, I was writing for grad school up until the 11:59 p.m. deadline. And then I started writing for all these other places because I was at the doctor earlier that day and couldn't do it during the afternoon like you want. So it's fun.
I would have thought you would have slept like a baby last night, considering the news we got yesterday.
The news. Oh, with Frank Reich?
Yes, sir.
Carolina Panthers. They put out a video that I watched. It's about 5 minutes long with him and the Carolina Panthers on YouTube. That's quite good.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that, man.
I had no idea he went to seminary in North Carolina.
Yeah, he's a pastor, I believe, for a while. Really good guy. It's, it's one of those things. I like Frank Reich anyway, but it gets the vibe of we just had a really bad breakup. So I just want someone nice, safe, that's going to take care of me.
Yeah.
And that's Frank Reich with the Carolina Panthers. Just a really good guy that'll probably do enough, right?
Uh-huh.
I think his potential is much higher than that. But every time you talk to him, I'm like, this guy's a grandfather. I think he actually is a grandfather, but big grandpa vibes in the best way.
Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's either his daughter or his niece. She works for the marketing department.
Yeah, it's a fairly new hire, so there's a good connection there. He was the first quarterback for the Carolina Panthers to throw a touchdown pass. It's good stuff, honestly. I'm excited for that opportunity. I am seeing more and more and more places reporting that Brady is interested in the Carolina Panthers as a fit, which gets me real hot and bothered. I won't lie to you.
Well, Joey, you have to be honest with people. The Patriots were your second team and still are, right?
Yeah, I love them both pretty equally. The rare occasions on which they play, I tend to root for whichever one is not favored. But my dad is from Foxborough, where the Patriots Stadium is, and there's some, it wasn't bandwagoning because they're a, dynasty like we've never seen. There's an actual connection there. But yeah, Tom Brady taught me what football was and how to love it. And the very first season of football I ever watched was the year that the Patriots and the Panthers went to the Super Bowl.
Same.
And I just assumed that the two teams you like just go to the Super Bowl every year. And since one of them was the Patriots, it was kind of true.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're half correct.
1 in every 3 years we get to win a Super Bowl. Ridiculousness. But no, I'm very excited. And this isn't really a sports podcast, so I won't go super into it, but I think that fit is good. Panthers are not literally a quarterback away, but they're kind of close. Yeah. They probably need another cornerback.
Yes.
And a clear-cut wide receiver too. And then I'm pretty happy with it. Depends if they get rid of Shaq Thompson or not, because that contract is disastrous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all we need is a cornerback, maybe another safety, a linebacker, another edge rusher,
And some rule changes.
yes. And that's just the defense.
Yeah.
Oh, rule changes. I see what you did there.
Yeah. But even with all those roster holds, the defense played out of their freaking minds for a long time. So
Thank you very much, Steve Wilkes, for the work you did at the midpoint of the season, by the way.
Yeah. Frank Reich and Steve Wilkes were the last two being considered, and I think that was about right. I think we needed an offensive dude, but Steve Wilkes is just, not enough good things to say about that guy.
Cool guy. And the only reason we're talking about sports is because when sports go well for us, we tend to be a little bit happier.
And it's very rare given the corner of the world we're in.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like it affects the content we put out.
I do too. It is the zit fizz of the sports world.
You are entirely correct.
Yeah. But today I'm just operating off of caffeine pills and I can feel it. Just sitting in resonating disappointment.
Well, I say get a drink of water and get yourself a nap. And for y'all out there, the Gun Rack Mafia, that is the show. Until next time, have fun out there, be safe, and we will see you at the range.
Sonoran Desert Institute is an online school accredited by the DEAC. It is headquartered at 1555 West University Drive in Tempe, Arizona. For more information about how you can craft your firearms future, visit sdi.edu.